welcome everybody to hear a little bit more about education and an education share. I'm Markus Wagner, and I'm the Director Business of Finance and Finance of ISA, International School Augsburg, which we would like to introduce and present to you.
And I'm Kathy Mullen. I was the Director of Education at the school for 18 years until last year, the founding Director of Education. And I'm really delighted that my former colleague Marcus has invited me back to say a little bit about the school. Yeah, so I really believe that International School Augsburg is a big success story. I think that if success for you is growth and development, quality, innovation and adaptability, promoting sound values, being a role model, and ultimately making a difference in the world, then I hope that at the end of the presentation, you'll see that we really are that. We're a school, so obviously our main business is little people. We take children from age 3 right up to 18, so they can spend their whole school career with us if they choose to. Mostly they don't, though, because we're geared towards the families or the children of internationally mobile families. So our school is like a little microcosm of the world. You hear lots of languages being spoken. We teach lots of languages. The language of instruction is English. German as the host country language is very important. We have teachers from all over the world. We have a couple of quick pictures for you of our home, where we currently live. This is the building we moved into in 2005 when we were just a tiny school, and over the years have grown to fill it. And recently we bought it. We had been renting it. You'll see the Ukrainian flag there. I've just spotted it. We have an increasing number of Ukrainian students with us at the moment. Then we have another slide that shows you another one of our developments, our sports pitch, which we opened in 2000, and doesn't much matter, 2018, I think. Marcus knows better. Yeah, just to give you a feeling of the building. Inside it, it's lively and bright. We're very well resourced, but mostly I think it's about the feeling, which is one of, joy of learning.
And of course, it's very important to locate our school a little bit, because that is a key factor of the success of the economical success as well. And therefore, we have a little bit of information for you where we are located. So we are located in the greater Augsburg, Munich area. As you can see, it's really very quick developing region, especially in technology. We have a technology campus in Augsburg developed over the last 10 years. An innovation park close by, as you can see on the right-hand side. It's all around the university, quite a unique structure. ISA, the school, is only away 20 minutes from it. So therefore, I think we are in a close proximity to really major hubs like Stuttgart or Munich, and even Austria and Nuremberg are areas in which we really see a huge growth even in the future. And therefore, we can also say there are a lot of bigger and mid-sized internationally operating companies which use our school already today. And as you can see, it goes from automotive to IT, and a major company in Augsburg is KUKA, very well known from the Chinese takeover a few years ago, and Faurecia, which is one of the biggest automotive suppliers worldwide.
We really are very well embedded in the local economic environment, as Marcus said. I think it's been a bit of a miracle in a way, the story of our success, because we started the school with just 50,000 euros, which is crazy. Anyone who knows anything about establishing schools will tell you need close to 2 million, really. But somehow with dedication and a lot of hard work and building trust and being successful from very early on, we managed to reach the milestones that are listed there. And we're proud of so many milestones, but I think in particular being the very first school to be listed, very first not-for-profit institution that is a school to be listed on a German stock exchange. Current value is at 7 million. So that's pretty impressive, from 50,000 to 7 million and growing. And just maybe it's nice just to see these two faces. Along with these two gentlemen, we were the founding team. Karl Moser on the left, the former supervisory board chair, owner of the company FinForest. If you've ever been to the Hanover Messe, his company built the sort of mushroomy wooden entrance there, pretty impressive. So real innovator in terms of engineering. And Dieter Kirchmeier on the left-hand side, he is in his early 80s now, but he is the guy who went around and raised the 50,000 and has continued to support and promote and wave the flag of the school since then. We've also been, there's so much, we could tell you if we had time, but here are a couple of the awards that we've won, listed among the top 100 innovative companies in Germany. This is a German national award. We were a finalist for the German School Prize, which the award in 2021, as we were just coming out of COVID, was one that was for innovation in education. And we'll say a little bit about that later, why we won that. And then more recently, we've been nominated for this Großer Preis des Mittelstandes, a prize that's awarded to mid-sized companies in Germany. From the educational point of view, we went from 63 students in the beginning to around 360 today. Very early on in our life, we became an accredited IB World School, International Baccalaureate World School. It may or may not mean something to you. These schools are really committed to promoting peace and raising young people with a strong set of values who will go out into the world and really make a positive difference. Again, very early in our life, we were accredited internationally with the Council of International Schools. So these are really reliable seals of quality. And then, of course, big celebration, 2012, our very first graduating class. I think one of this, this is the strategic guy. It's probably maybe not me, but in terms of technology, the school has really been very, very strategic. Already in 2015, we began moving all of our operations from education to company operations into the cloud. And that meant that when the world was surprised and stunned by COVID, we were able to do a very surprising thing. We moved without one single day's delay from in-house face-to-face teaching to online and hybrid teaching. And I know of no other school, so I can't be humble here, I know of no other school that was able to move that quickly. So I think that shows how responsive we are. 250 alumni at this stage. So, for a school of our age, it's quite unusual to have so many former students out there in the world doing really good things. And all of our alumni are shareholders. At the heart of it all is really a set of values that we all believe in very, very firmly. We believe we do need to look after ourselves, but we need to look out for one another. We need to be open-minded and collaborative and respectful. And we need to work together to look after the planet and do what we can to make the world a better place. And I think that value, or those values, are also embedded in the concept of our share.
Well, let me continue with our share and what our share means in terms of investment, because you're probably surprised and you don't know what a not-for-profit company does at the stock exchange, but we are pretty sure that this is a future way of financing important areas in our society, and this was the reason for us to to take this step in 2021 and to offer an investment in an innovative educational concept, as my former colleague presented to you, in intercultural understanding, a better future for our young people. And of course, we also invest we are also supporting investment for our companies in the greater Augsburg area. We support the development in the greater Augsburg area as a school for internationals. And the return on invest for our shareholders is rather interesting as well, because from a solid growth and sustainable growth in starting in 2005, we already heard about that, starting as a 50,000 euro GmbH, we now reached an equity of almost 6 million euros with the IPO in 2021. And we continue to develop the campus with annual subsidies, with capital increases, which result in a balance sheet with almost 9 million euros, which you can see in our downloadable balance sheet on the website. And not only the growth was an important aspect, of course, it's also to be profitable. Very often you hear that an investment in a not-for-profit company isn't really of interest because there is no dividend. But the reality, of course, is not-for-profit schools are able to grow maybe even faster than normal companies. But I will talk about that a little bit later, because the most important thing for us, besides the sustainable and profitable development of the school, and as you can see again, we're not supposed to talk about our result of our ending business year to the 31st of August this year, but I can already say in advance that it will be another very successful year, both in terms of student numbers and in the financial result, which will come out in the near future. But besides that, ISA is especially a real SDG and an honest ESG investment, follows the SDG standards. It is an investment in education and therefore a real ESG investment. And I think we hear so much about ESG and so much about ESG investments, and I'm not trying to talk about big funds like DWS, where we hear all about the scandals. This is a direct investment in promoting ESG and SDG standards. And the profit for our shareholders especially is in terms of, and that's what I was trying to get at beforehand, why could a not-for-profit institution be an interesting investment? Well, first of all, there's a tax relief, and we're in the not-for-profit schools are not paying taxes. So there are, of course, no dividends as a not-for-profit school, not-for-profit institution in general, are not supposed to pay out dividends. But what common sense is that we are also not supposed to have profits. That's not correct. We are allowed to have profits, and that's exactly the difference to a normal company, because additional revenues come from subsidies, donations, sponsorships, and if you take if you do a comparison between a not-for-profit company and a for-profit company in terms of profit, let's take an example. So you have a profit of 500,000 euros in both companies. You take the not-for-profit, the for-profit company, the taxes mean around about 250,000, about 50%. Then the shareholders decide to pay a dividend out of 125,000. So of a profit with 500,000 euros, an investment potential of 125,000 euros remains for the company itself to grow, to develop. In the not-for-profit company, the whole amount of money, the 500,000 euros, remain as investment potential for the company to grow the company value. Therefore, my claim is not-for-profit companies are able to develop their company value faster than normal companies, as they have more resources in terms of profit left over. And last but not least, there are a lot of tangible assets. Typically, not-for-profit companies invest into property like we do, and as you will see soon. But we're also thinking ahead. How do we want to develop the school in the future? We're trying to continue to grow the student numbers by, you will see that soon, our new campus. We're trying to expand the business model in terms of boarding, maybe in the long term, and there might be satellite locations in the south of Augsburg or in different cities of Germany, like Würzburg, where we don't have an international school yet, and so forth. The potential is there, as you can see. Even in the greater Augsburg area, more than 50% of the companies really see a development of international senior management employees in the long run. And the potential analysis we ordered shows a development for the school of up to 600 students in the long run. And this is what we would like to invest with our school in the near future to make our potential growth happening. As you can see, we are talking about a new campus, which is going to be also an ESG oriented, sustainable renovation of an old building, which we will be able to develop into a new campus site close to on a big campus area. And yeah, so just a few impressions. Of course, photovoltaic storage, electricity storage systems, etc., are an important thing. Green roofs, etc. These are important aspects for us to develop the. This is a little view inside the campus, how it can look like. A little bit different from German schools nowadays, but we are really hoping to achieve this. And this is what it will look like. It is a central location, as I already said, close to the city of Augsburg. The financing cost will be between 35 and 40 million euros. And the real asset for investors, and what I talked about beforehand, the company value growth, is the public subsidies. We will see of 20 and more million euros being invested into our building, into our company, being going over into the ownership of our shareholders. And the second and third parts are, of course, our existing own capital from the IPO and loans with which we will close the financing gap. Yeah, the latest development, just briefly, the latest in development, so that we are really going ahead and we are trying to achieve everything till 2027, to move in 2027. The local authority that just approved in October the lease contract to build. The official opening is planned for 2027. And yeah, that means at the end, international school will raise its company value from nowadays around about 7 million to 45 million euros, which in my eyes seems to be enough potential for a rising share price for the long term.
Yes, and just finally, I've always been excited about this school, and I continue to be, even though I'm no longer an employee. I think the achievements have been amazing. And really, I think if, we have a range of investors. Our shareholders are, as we said, former students. They're also individuals who, teachers, ordinary people who are just very interested in our concept of education and our commitment to sustainability. But of course, we also have leaders and owners of large companies investing in us. So I think we're looking for investors who care about innovation, who see us as a role model and as a kind of a, shining the light. And we hope that even if you decide not to invest in International School Augsburg, that you will spread the word about what we're doing and what we're trying to do with our education share. Thank you.
Thank you. We're done.
Thank you very much. There are already a couple of questions in the chat. So first of all, do you plan to further do a capital increase by equity issue?
Not at the moment. We are offering a convertible bond of 3 million euros to close the financing gap between the own capital and the loans, which is in process and in offering. But at the moment, we are not thinking of increasing the base capital, but it might, of course, be an idea in the long run. Mm-hmm. We just want to see the developments. We want to see also the share price develop in the long run, and so that's obviously a very important aspect.
Okay. Can you give us some more information about the convertible?
Well, of course, the convertible bond is based on a share price of €12.50. The GBC rating sees a long-term share price of up to 17.80, I think, at the moment. So I think it's an attractive share price to convert the investment. It's up to 3 million euros of bond investment capital. 600,000 euros we already placed, and we are open to investors, and we're really happy. It's the run time. What would you call it? The run time is 7 years to 2029. It's 3% of dividend. I would call that dividend because that's always a discussion about the bond, because people see it as a interest rate. I see it as a dividend because you won't get a dividend, fixed dividend for the next 7 years of 3% from any kind of stock-based companies, but we are providing a 3% dividend on our loan bond. Sorry.
There was just one follow-up question. So where can one buy the convertible? Is it directly through you?
Exactly. You can get in touch with us, and we'll provide the documentation, the documents to both to buy and sign the bond.
Okay. And there is congratulations for achieving the building permit. Where was this news published? Because the investor seems to have missed it.
Hot off the press.
It's hot off the press, and I already got criticized for thanking the city council.
It was last Friday, right?
It was Wednesday. Last Wednesday was the council meeting, so we haven't published it yet because we want to get the confirmation of the city of Gersthofen that we are allowed to publish it.
Okay. And how many shareholders do you have today? And what is your capital market strategy to increase the interest in the stock?
Very interesting question. At the moment, we are still in the process of shifting shareholders because, as we described it, we turned into a AG in 2017, and we already managed shareholders at that point. Then we did the IPO. So we have around about 600 shareholders invested in ISA. And of course, we're going to promote it among parents. We're going to promote it in the greater Augsburg area among the subsidizing or supporting initiatives like the Regio Augsburg GmbH. And what's very important for us still are investment forums like the International Investment Forum or the Munich Capital Konferenz in spring and November. So these are the platforms where we try to approach people and give them an impression of how investing in education could look like in the future.
Do we have an overview here of the shareholders? I see somebody's asked. Oh.
And yeah, maybe you can share the current shareholder structure. Do you have it in the presentation?
No, we don't have it. I'm sorry, we don't have, but it's very easy. We have round about, but it's I can explain it. We have round about 30 companies invested in ISA, all mid-sized companies of the greater Augsburg area, and then a major group of parents invested in ISA, and the third group are our alumni and former students, which is a totally unique thing at ISA, because together with their IB diploma, our students turn into owners of our school and get a donation of 8 shares of ISA. That leads to a continuous growth and also a trading of our share by our former alumni.
Okay. And regarding your infrastructure project, are the subsidies from the Bavarian state already granted?
There's a so-called Schulfinanzierungsgesetz, so that's the interest. That's the very important part. That's nothing to be discussed, because there is a law which gives us the right to access the subsidies up to 50%, but we are in negotiations to even improve this situation with the Ministry of Education, and it might be that after the elections there will be a change in terms of status of the international schools, which would lead to an even further increased subsidy rate than the 50% which we assumed so far, which would make life easier and would be, of course, also of interest for our shareholders, because it's going into the company's value afterwards as well.
Okay. And when will you plan to start with the building activities?
At the moment, the former gymnasium is still used. In 2024, the gymnasium is going to move out into a new campus as well. And so starting from then, we are going to tear down certain parts of the old building. And so the renovation process will start in the late 2024. And the building project itself, we need the subsidy the final document of the subsidies, of course, because you're not supposed to start your building project in advance. Will start around about 2025. So that we're planning to finish till the end of 2027, the beginning of 2028.
But you're already working quite intensively with engineers and building planners on a regular basis. That's important.
Exactly. The pre-planning phase already started. That helps us to avoid European-wide tenders. At the moment, we are happy to stick to German-wide tenders for the pre-planning. That also helps us to save a lot of money and be rather focused and flexible.
Excellent. So sadly, the time is up, but thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your questions.
Thank you for the questions, and thank you for being part of the International Investment Forum. Bye.
Bye.